Happy New Year here, hot seaters, and welcome to the second episode of the Domestique Hotseat. Getting some fantastic guests. I'd like to give a bit of a shout out to one of our editors, Ethan, who managed to pull this one. And today we've got a real treat for you from Norway. He's ridden with Tadej Pogačar. He's ridden against the likes of Cavendish and Sagan. He's won 2 monuments, 3 or 4 Tour de France stages. He's been second place at the World Champions, 3rd at the Olympics, and I've got no business talking to him. But ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax. We have Alexander Kristoff here, and let's get into it. Alexander Kristoff, mate, how are you going?
Yeah, it's fine. Not as easy days as I was supposed to have, I thought, when I retired, but it's quite busy still. But I enjoy the days and have fun.
I think your life and my life are mirroring each other a little bit at the moment. I'm doing a lot with my kids, and then also I'm trying to move house. You're currently in the midst of some home renovations. It's struggle street.
Yeah, I've been painting a lot lately, so I'm getting close to the finish now. But I have an apartment I'm renting. I was supposed to rent out, but right now I'm renovating, like you said. So I'm always white on my hands from white paint the last few weeks, but I look forward to get finished now.
How would you rate yourself as a painter? I don't have the patience for it.
I am quite patient, so I will say 6 out of 10 maybe, or something like this. It's not. I sometimes use a bit too much paint, so it's dripping. Yeah. So I don't like to do many strokes. It's better to have 2 strokes with not too much paint. But I prefer to just do one with a lot of paint and be finished. But so maybe I am not patient enough for the work, but for the first round I can do it. But second or third round, I hate to do it to make it really perfect.
I'm a man of action, so I hate the prep. Painting's got like all the taping and everything of the skirting and stuff. So get me on the roller and I'm good. But yeah, I hate all the prep that comes with painting. So I end up
there's a lot of prep.
Sure is, mate. Well, look, we'll give you a bit of a break from that. We start off these episodes with a test. It's in, I guess, in memory. Wout didn't do so well on the World's Smartest Man, I don't think, but it's in tribute to his attempt at that Belgian show. Wout Van Aert, for those who do not know, went on the Belgian show, which in English translates to the World's Smartest Man. And it's a trivia show. So we now subject our guests to 1 minute to answer as many trivia questions as they can. Now, don't feel too much pressure because we had El Tractor on last week and he got 3 correct. So providing that you can beat 3 in a minute, I think you'll be okay. So your minute starts now. Which fictional character lives at 220B Baker Street in London? You can pass.
Was it Batman? I don't know. Batman.
No. What is the name for a period of 100 years? So if you live 100 years, how long have you lived? Yeah. What is the acronym for CPU in computing stand for?
CPOs. Pass.
Okay. What actor played James Bond the most in the films?
Pierce Brosnan.
No, a character, Homer Simpson, works at what type of facility?
Atomic facility.
Yeah. What instrument did Louis Armstrong famously play, the jazz musician?
Saxophone.
What is the largest type of shark in the world?
Whale shark.
What layer of the Earth protects us from harmful solar radiation?
Ozone layer.
Okay, so that is your time. Now, you got the century, so that's right. The first one character that lives at 221 Baker Street is Sherlock Holmes. The 100 years is century. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. Roger Moore was the actor that played the most James Bond films. You got Homer Simpson. You said atomic plant, nuclear plant, much of a muchness. I'll give you that one. Whale shark was correct, and the ozone layer was correct. So you beat El Tractor by 1 with 4. So well done, mate. That's
close.
not many people can say that they've. I mean, actually, he was a domestique. A lot of people can say that they beat him, but well done. Good stuff. Hey, so you're retired now, as you mentioned. In the time between, I believe it was Lankawi that was your last race. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Times have you touched? How many times have you touched the bike since?
I touched my cyclocross bike 1 time, and my road bike 2 times, but 1 was just for transport. So yeah, but I touched it 2 times, so 3 in total.
3 in total, and that's since October, correct? It was Lankawi, so that's what, 4 months.
I was hoping
3
to
months?
I was hoping to do a bit more bike, but weather in Norway now is quite chilly, so it's not the ideal situation for going on the bike. So I wait for the spring to get for the weather to get a bit better.
You have the luxury there with that, but I mean, a lot of teams are going and doing training camps. This is your first time off in a while. Have you been on the social media feeling any FOMO about seeing, fellow riders, ex-teammates rather, going and doing training camps? Or is it, thank goodness I don't have to do that?
It would be nice to go a bit south, yeah, because I was usually always in Gran Canaria in Christmas, and then now we went to Spain or something. And in Norway right now, it's really dark. The sun comes out up late and goes down early because of the winter time. So we have maybe 6-7 hours of really daylight. So you get a bit depressed of all the darkness. So it would be nice to have a bit longer days and sun higher up on the sky, but in some warmth. Because out today was -9 degrees in my place. So that's Celsius. So it was really freezing, and it's snowing also. So yeah, I miss maybe that a little bit, but I don't feel like I feel also that it's nice to be home with the family and kids and not have the rush to travel and train all the time. So yeah, I enjoy also staying at home with them. And yeah, later today I'm gonna pick up my kids in kindergarten and we go training for swimming in the swim arena inside. So yeah, it's all the stuff and it keeps you busy. So I don't feel too much FOMO, to be honest.
How has it been transitioning back into, I guess, normal life? Is it weird not having someone telling you the weight for all your meals and how much training you have to do each day, or is it nice?
Yeah, I will not say I really have normal life because now I live like a pension, like a guy went off with pension. I don't do really. Okay, I renovate a little bit and I do stuff for myself, but I train quite a lot in the gym. So I actually gained 10 kilos and I'm not really feeling I'm getting fatter, but my upper body is quite bigger. So I went up size in my t-shirts and normal shirts from medium to large. So maybe my new life is gonna be a bit expensive since I need to change out my whole wardrobe. But yeah, I enjoy it. I go in the gym because this time of the year is more nice, and I also enjoy that. I get to know new people because there was also other people in the gym in the morning. So I was already in the gym before this interview today. So yeah, I enjoy it, and then I do like now renovating in the day and the kids are in school and kindergarten. And last month I was building a bed. Maybe I can send you a picture how it went at the end. I was building a bunk bed from scratch.
A bunk bed?
120 size wide and 2 meters length, so actually for 2 adults, but it's for my twins, they are 5. So I was quite happy at the end how it went out with the bunk bed, but I used quite a lot of time. But at the end, it was looking decent. It was not looking like it was somebody's first project. So I was happy with my skills there, but I used quite a lot of time.
This is very much the life of someone who used to have a lot of stuff filling their time and is now. My wife, when we moved into our first house after we got married, my wife told me she wanted a coffee table. And after looking at how much coffee tables are, I said, I can do that myself. So I got my best friend over. He used to be a carpenter, and we built a coffee table, and she very quickly moved it into the cupboard under the stairs, and we never saw that coffee table again. She wasn't too impressed with my work. So I'm
My
glad
wife
that
was
yours.
impressed with my work.
Yeah.
And you cannot move it under any bed and under anything because it's so big. So it has to stand where it stands.
Bigger is better. All right. Well, what does it mean for you then? You know, you're a Norwegian rider. Norwegian? I've had a blank here. I'm correct there.
What?
So
Yeah,
you're
I'm
from
Norwegian,
Norway?
yeah.
Yep. Sorry, man, I'm on so little sleep at the moment. Kids have been a menace. Yeah, so Norwegian rider, finishing off your career at Uno X. How does that feel like it was where it was meant to end? Was that a nice way to end it on a Scandinavian team?
Yeah, I liked it. I was at least I felt like I was a good part of the team moving up to World Tour. I took second most points in the team from the last 3 years, so for sure I contributed a lot in that. And yeah, it was cool to see all the bosses, trainers from when I was before I turned pro, even was now still my sports directors and in UNX. So it was a bit coming home because, for example, Gino van Oudenhoven was my sports director when I was in Joker and Maxbo when I was really young before I turned pro in BMC. So yeah, it felt like a bit coming home, and it's also nice to know all the new talents in Norway. I got to know them really well, because I was teammates with many of them. So that's also nice. So now I know how they are outside of the TV frame or whatever. So it gives you a bit more personal feeling, and you cheer more for them, when they are doing tour or other races. So I look forward to follow them on TV this year and wish them all the best. And I think they're gonna do well. Many of these guys are now in peak age, so they should be at their best level. And before they were young, we were a young team, but they grow older. And you reach the age where you should perform the best. So many of the guys are now in their best years. So I think we will see a lot of good results this year also from Uno X team.
Yeah, well, that's something that I kind of wanted to pick your brain about. So in Australia, we don't have an exclusively Australian team, but we have the Jayco Alula team, Live Alula Jayco for the women's, and our domestic circuit. It's called the Pro Velo Super League. At least last year, I'm not sure whether they're running it this year, but the prize for winning the overall for that was a spot in the Jayco development team for the men and women. So that's a little bit of a pathway. And if you have a look at the rider profile, most of the riders in those teams are from Australia. What does it do for Scandinavian cycling to have this exclusively Scandinavian team that is now in the World Tour?
Yeah, it's maybe make it a bit easier for Norwegian and Danish riders to turn professional, I will say. But it can also be like a problem for UNOX in a while if we don't have enough Danish and Norwegian riders. The price on the good ones will be more high, because there is high demand. If they know UNOX need them because they are maybe the only choice they have at this for this type of races, for example, and then they will get paid after that because of the demand of them, because since they only take in Norwegian and Danish riders, it's not unlimited number of good ones, good professionals. So, but I think for the Norwegian and Danish riders, it's for sure a good thing. It's a team that will give many guys an opportunity to race on the World Tour. And yeah, we never had more Norwegian professionals than now. And that's thanks to UNOX because so many Norwegians are pro on this team.
Do you think there needs to be some, like now that they're in the World Tour, it's one thing to be a Conti team or a pro team and have this restriction on your team. So in Australia, we've got a football league and you're allowed to purchase some players outside of, we've got a salary cap, and outside of the salary cap that are called marquee players, and they sort of are often the overseas players. So everyone is a local Australian footballer except for these marquee players. Do you think that Uno X maybe needs to look at having, okay, in our team DNA, we will have 25 of our riders from Norway and Denmark, and then maybe 5 riders that are outside of this in order to allow, because, for example, one of the things that you brought up there is the cost. Pedersen, Skelmos, and Vingegaard would be the ones that you'd want to pick, and they're expensive.
Yes. Yeah, that's maybe something they can look into, but also it's important for these guys. It's not going to be easy if there are 4 or 5 guys from another country that don't speak our language. I remember when I was doing, for example, in Katusha or in Intermarché, if there was many people from only one country, they were speaking their native tongue. They didn't speak English, and then if you don't understand the Norwegian, if you're from Belgium, then you are sitting there, and it's quite boring if you don't understand anything that's been talking about on the tables and in meetings. So that's an issue. Then you need to say enough on the races we only speak English, because all Norwegian and Danish speak English, but it's easier to speak Norwegian when we are only with Norwegians. So yeah, I remember that was a bit of an issue when I was in teams that had a lot of one nationality on the races. So it's not nice for the guy who is not inside the circle then and don't understand anything.
Has that ever been a problem, like with some of the juniors that you would have ridden with last year and the year before? I mean, the World Tour peloton they speak French, Spanish, Italian. It's unique, I guess, if you have a chat to like a lot of the Australian riders, international riders that I've talked to, they're all working on their French, Spanish, or Italian. Is it weird? Like, do some of these kids that are coming into a team that speaks, I don't know, what is it? Norwegian, is that the language of the area? Is that an issue when you walk into the peloton and all of a sudden you don't speak those, French, Spanish, or Italian?
I never learned French, Spanish, and Italian, so I was fine. But usually English is now the main, I would say, the main language in the peloton. Before it was maybe French and or Italian, but now if you understand English, you are fine, I will say. But for us, it's Norwegian is our native language, and but everybody from Scandinavia speaks English quite well. So for us, it's not a big issue. But like I had French in school for 5 years, but I don't understand much. So I didn't use it in my life, even if I, yeah, it's really difficult. I think I understand more Italian, and I never learned that one. So because it's make more sense.
It is, yeah. I find that with German. I don't speak a word of German, but I feel like if I'm sitting next to a German person, I can kind of make out what they're saying just because there are those similarities with English.
Yeah.
Hey,
they
so
have some
with
words
oh, sorry. Yep.
No,
so
no,
with Uno X, let's stick with it a little bit longer. So Skelmoser, he would be a fantastic grab for Uno X. There was a period when Trek signed Ayuso where it was pretty clear that he was unhappy with the way that had panned out during the Vuelta and sort of the fallout afterwards. He was coming off contract. He's recently re-signed with Trek. Do you know if in that period between the Vuelta and that re-signing, had Uno X reached out at all? I'd have to assume there were at least some feelers going out.
To be honest, I don't know. I assume also they talk with the best riders from Scandinavia and Denmark and Norway especially. So I guess they have been reached out to him and asked if he's interested and for what price. But I cannot say for sure. I'm not into like they didn't tell the riders what riders are coming in before it was confirmed. So
yeah, fair enough. It just seems bizarre. And then even after that, having just signed a couple of days ago. It almost seems like they're just trying to, I don't know, poor Skelmersha. Anyway, if you, speaking of, Scandinavian riders then, if you had to, I'm going to put some, I guess, restrictions on this, but if you had to assemble a Scandinavian team for the Tour de France, hypothetically, unlimited budget. No one's off the table. You can buy out of contract, so you can purchase Vingegaard if you want to. The only caveat here is that you're going for stage wins. You're not going for the overall, because then I think it's obvious that you picked Vingegaard. Who would you pick in that team? Who would you want if you were going for stage wins?
Oh, I will still take Vingegaard because he can win some mountain stages.
Yeah.
And Pedersen, of course, is one of the best Scandinavian riders. It's a difficult to choose because there's so many good guys to choose from. For example, I like Per from Visma, big talent. Also trained sometimes with him. Valenskjold maybe for the sprints, together with the Pedersen, I think can work. Abrahamsen to work. Jonas, big engine, and also can go in breaks. He won last year from a break. I think Tobias Salan also for stage, to try to win the stage in the mountain, but also to help Vingegaard and for a stage maybe. I will say that's enough. How many I'm off to?
You know what? Maybe there are enough Scandinavian riders. Maybe UNOX is going to be fine.
Yeah, they got to be fine. But yeah, like Skellimos, you have Magnus Kort for the breaks, so there's many good guys you can bring. So, yeah, I think if they can sign, for example, Skellimos in the future, or one like Pedersen, or then UNOX will be super strong. But yeah, that costs a lot. It's a big salary these guys need or gonna ask for to come over to UNOX for sure.
Yeah, well, that's the problem that all of these smaller teams have, and I guess in Australia, again, just to draw some parallels, we don't have the money in any of our leagues to bring international players over just based on a salary. But I guess what a lot of our teams pitch is, well, we offer you a lifestyle. You could live in Europe, or you could come and live in Sydney. And, you can live a pretty good life in Sydney. It's a good place to raise your family. So what value would you place on UNOX being Scandinavian, Norwegian and Denmark? You'll speak your native language. You'll be with people that come from the same country as you. You'll probably get to spend more time in the off season at home. How much do you think that covers a salary, I guess?
I don't know, but like when you're a cyclist, you can more or less live where you want. Like you're not so like if you play football or some other sports, you need to live where the team are based to train with the team. But like I always lived in my city, even if I was in UAE or Katusha or BMC or like I always lived here. So where the team are based from doesn't matter so much for I would say for the pro rider, because they can be based more or less where they want, as long as it's maybe not in the Arctic Circle or in middle of or like so too far away from the races. But you can choose where you want to raise your family. So this is not such a big issue from any team normally. But as long as it's shown before that it works training there, you deliver. Like for me, I was always here in Norway, and I still deliver good result, even if it is sometimes snow in the winter. So it doesn't always matter so much. For sure, it's not ideal. It would be better to live in Spain, but then your family life need to work. So that's why we chose to live here. But yeah, what is important, I think, for me as a rider was for sure that you say you have a big salary, but then you need to get it paid. And some teams have like not the best finances, so it's not always you get your money on the date you should get the money. And from this, UNOX is very secure, for example. So we never had an issue with any payments here, and that can be problems in some teams when they have sponsors that have not paid them, then they cannot pay you. And yeah, then it can be delayed sometimes, and that's not always nice. If you have loan on your house or something you need to pay down and you don't get your salary, then you have an issue. So these type of things, I will say, provide the security that your payments are really safe.
So there's the advertisement. Scandinavian, if you are listening to this, come to Uno X, you'll get paid on time.
You will pay on time for sure.
Your send off. Actually, one more on these Scandinavian riders. One rider, I went over to China. This year to MC one of the races over there, and there was this rider that any time a sprint was on, he cleaned up. And I've been watching his season since. It's Alexander Selby. Have you heard of Selby at all?
Yeah, I heard of him.
He's cleaning up in China for Leaning Star. Do you think he's World Tour material, or do you think there's a big gulf between the Chinese races and winning a sprint in those Chinese races and coming over and racing in the World Tour?
It's a big gap for sure, but still, you need to be fast to win in China, and so we have this speed in the legs for sure. If you have the endurance and speed after a hard race, that's what you have to train to make it in Europe. But for sure, I also race in Asia, and it's not easy to win there. If you're not fast enough, you don't win, because there are super fast guys racing in this type of races. So for sure, you have talent, and yeah, it's possible. It's possible for sure to make it also in World Tour, but maybe you need even more training. But you don't know how good you are before you take that step and race in the best league in Europe. So this you cannot just. You cannot know it before you are there, if you're missing some, or if you're good enough.
Yeah, totally. So with your last race in Lankawi, you DNF'd, I think it was in the second last stage. It's a bit hard to watch these races in Australia, so I didn't get to actually get the context around this, but your send-off was on the back of a rickshaw. I think that's what they're called. Your guard of honor. You were on the back of a rickshaw. Is that correct?
Yeah, normally it was not a problem to finish this race, but I crashed really bad. It was for no reason. It was a straight road. It was just I hit a hole, and I was not paying 100% attention to what we were doing, because we were going so easy. It was just transport, and then suddenly on the highway was a big hole, and I went down really hard. And it was so hot, I didn't wear gloves, so my hands was completely broken, so I could not hold my handlebar after. So then it was not really, because if I had gloves on, I would easily finish. But yeah, when I cannot hold the handlebar, it's dangerous for me and also for the other riders. So yeah, I was just this is not possible. But yeah, then I didn't get my guard of honor, because it was my last race, but I finished before it was finished. So and they didn't know it would be my last stage, on the second last stage. So they had to organize something. So then I was sitting in the back, like in a wagon, and one of the best sprinters from Malaysia, he was riding with me on the back there through the guard of honor. So that was a bit fun.
If you haven't seen this, you should definitely go and check it out on Instagram. It is definitely one of the strangest guard of honors in a year of a whole bunch of strange celebrations. The Vuelta podium ceremony being in a car park. I think somehow this one takes it. It was not what you expect to see rolling out at the end.
No, I didn't expect it like this, but at the end I got the guard of honor, so that was nice. And I took it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was, and I really liked that race. It was a nice race in Lankawi, but unfortunately I didn't win. I was chasing some victories to get 100, but I was only second. So yeah, that was life. I'm getting too old, so it was time to stop. But with age, what I felt the most was my maximum speed. I lost a bit on the maximum power, and then it's difficult to win these races in Asia.
Yeah, totally. So with retirement, it rarely for professional riders actually means retirement. There, we've seen Geraint Thomas going into a role at Ineos. We've seen Marcel Kittel just signed as sprint coach for the Unibet Rose Rockets. What are the future plans for Kristoff? Are there attempts at, would you be interested in some sort of coaching role? I believe you may have one or some sort of future plans tied up.
Yeah, I'm actually part owner of this Drali Repsol team. It's a local team, Continental. So if they have some question for me, I will pitch in with the knowledge I have. Mostly it's about sprint. I will say I have most knowledge, because in the climbs I usually was in the gruppetto, taking it as easy as possible. So how to do the climb best, maybe I'm not the right guy to ask, but if the Sprinter Classics type of rider ask, maybe I have some input. But I don't have big plans right now. I have small kids. I have 5, or soon I have 5. I will get a new one in February, and 5th boy. So I have a lot of kids, and they are still
5 kids.
Yeah,
Mate, I've
my
got
oldest
2,
is 4.
and that's enough.
Yeah, my oldest kid is 14 now. So I have one 14,
Wow.
one 10, and 2. I had twins, and I was in UAE, so they are 5 now.
You've got twins
and,
too?
Yeah. And now I
I've
get
got
another
twin
boy.
daughters.
So it will be do you have twin boys?
Yeah, twin daughters.
Yeah. Twin daughters. I have twin boys. So it's busy. Yeah. So I'm thinking now when I have small kids, and I will not take on any big project or responsibilities on my back, then I have less time for them. So they are only young one time, and I have a chance to not work too much. I have saved a lot from my career, so I can live on the savings and on the investments for the moment. And then maybe when they grow older, like when the youngest are 15, maybe he don't want to stay with the old parents anymore. Then he can find something to do, of course, to find some meaning. But right now, I enjoy actually more than enough just to go in the gym in the morning. Then I go back, have some easy lunch, and then it's soon time to pick up in kindergarten. So it's not like I'm getting bored.
So I'm a school teacher, and it's our summer at the moment. Excuse me. So you talk about really short days. Our sun went down at about 8:30 tonight. So we're in really long days. And my wife always comes home and she's like, "What have you done today?" I'm like, "Well, I was actually really busy." Like, it is amazing how much you can fill up in a day. That must be so exciting for you, though. One piece of advice that I got when I first became a parent was to make sure that you take time to spend with your kids, because you'll regret it later. As someone who has probably seen, not as much of your kids as you would have wanted to, you must be so excited about that time to just spend with this newborn.
Yeah, so in February I get a new boy. He's gonna be called Lionel. So I have 4 boys on L: Leo, Liam, Louis, Luca, and then Lionel. So I look forward to get the whole experience. I've been a bit in and out on races, so we will see how I handle it. Maybe I'm missing back, and maybe I do comeback next year if it's too hard.
Yeah, I'm sure Uno X would have you back. Yeah, look, I had a year of part-time work, and it was something that I look back on very fondly. So I'm very excited for you. You're not a football fan, are you? You haven't named him after Messi, have you?
Actually, was my boys, my oldest boy that found the name, but it was we had like all the boys was starting on L, so we had to find a name on L again, and then Lionel popped up, and all the other boys are playing football, so let's hope he will also play football then, because he had the name to be good.
I think it's nominative determinacy, I think is what it's called, where your name, we've got a sprinter in Australia and his name is Blake Quick, and I feel like that's a perfect name for a sprinter. So
He's quick.
yeah. So maybe it's nominative determinacy. Look, so you're not a bad rider yourself. 2014, you win Milan San Remo. Pogačar, can't even say that he's done that. So that's pretty amazing. And then 2015 Ron van Vlaanderen. So within a year, you've won two of the biggest monuments. You can only keep one in this hypothetical scenario. Which one would you hold on to? Your 2014 San Remo or your 2015 Ron van Vlaanderen?
I take Ronde van Vlaanderen because of, for me, it's even a bigger race. It's not actually a bigger race, but the atmosphere in Belgium for Ronde van Vlaanderen is so good and crazy, and also the way I won it was a more spectacular way than how I won San Remo. San Remo I won more, I would say, my usual way how I won races, but Flanders was a bit more aggressive way of riding that I was not so known for. But in 2014 and 15, these years, I was really peak of my career, and I could also do attacks like this, and I was really good times. I thought after I won in Flanders in 2015, and then I already had two monuments. I was thinking, you win one monument every year, but then it stopped.
Yeah. I mean, I watched in preparation for this. I was watching the highlights of Ron van Vlaanderen, and you were you were on fire. Like when you say it was not the way that you normally win, you were going with Terpstra on the climbs. You did end up in a 2-up sprint, but that would have been unusual for you. How did you end up in that situation? Was it just youth and backing yourself?
Yeah, I raced quite many good Tour of Flanders actually. So and there I always felt strong at the end. So I was quite not confident to win, but to be there in the final because I was also in the finals the years before. I had a 4th and a 6th place, I think, on the previous edition. So I had the last few years I did not have good experience in Flanders, but until the last 2-3 years I always raced really well in Tour of Flanders, so it's somehow suited me really well, even to be such a hard race. And on 2015 it all went my way. I went after one. I went 100% after and dedicated myself 100% after one attack, and it was with Terpstra on Kreuzberg, and it was the right move. So I was a bit lucky to be there, because if we were caught and a counter attack would go, I would not have joined, because then for sure I would be tired after my first attack. So for sure I needed some luck to be also in the position, but then you need also the legs to finish it off. And on this day, it was everything was right for me. I had the legs to do it.
All right, so let's throw a hand grenade in on that then. And would you take that win or your Tour de France stage win that I think came in 2014 from memory? So would you take Flanders or Tour de France stage win?
Yeah, I have 4 stage wins in Tour. So
yes.
If it's only one Tour win, I will for sure skip one Tour win and take the Flanders. But if you took away all my 4 Tour de France wins, maybe I will keep the 4 wins in Tour and let go of Flanders.
What about you either win a monument or you win a Tour de France stage? You've one or the other. Which would you choose then?
If I only can win one thing, I would take a monument over one stage. Yeah. Even if it was Champs-Élysées.
Yeah. Tour de France. So just watching the Tour de France over the last couple of years compared to when you were racing it, the whole thing's a damn circus now. You got the rise of social media. I'd imagine when you'd started, there were a couple of TV channels. You would have had some local newspapers that you had to talk to, but the media obligations, the noise around it would have been pretty chill, I'd imagine. In
the best year was COVID.
Now. Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. How do you think the rise of social media around these races, but particularly around the Tour de France, how do you think that has changed the way that race is perceived?
For sure, it reaches even more people. Was really big before, for sure. It was always really big, but now I think it can reach even a wider wider young youth and old, and it reaches through so many channels that the reach is even bigger than before. So for sure that's good for the sport because you get more attention on it, attention, and people know more about it. But it also gives the riders more obligations, less recovery, more stress during the day, and I was always happy when I was finished with the press zone and could focus on the race and not on all the questions, of course.
Were you media trained? So, I mean,
No,
you were at
not
UAE
really.
for a while. Pardon?
No, I will not say we were trained, but you get some training after many years with the media.
Because it's common now for sports people. I mean, I would imagine riders like Tadej Pogačar, maybe not Remco Evenepoel, he doesn't seem to want to do media training, but, those big riders seem to be very much coached. Vingegaard is an example of this, where his answers are very by the book. That's not something that you were exposed to? You didn't have someone that sort of ran you through, these are the things that you say and these are the things that you don't?
Not really. Sometimes you can get suggestions if this topic comes up. Maybe you should answer this. So sometimes we have some answers, but we were not really trained. This is the way you should behave. And in the start, I said maybe I was not always by the book, but I just said what I was feeling. And in Norway, they always said I was complaining all the time. Because they asked me after my race why I didn't win, and I was complaining, but I was in wrong position. He didn't do his job, and I was not fast enough there. And I don't know, and then he was boxing me in. So I was complaining on other guys doing something. That's how I didn't win. But of course, it's always something. If everything went my way, I could have won, but usually doesn't.
It is. It must be hard. When races finish, the winner is obviously ecstatic. That's one thing. But the person who comes second, the loser, for want of a better term, often absolutely wrecked, and the media is straight there trying to get answers on, what happened, how does it feel not to win. That must have been so hard on races where you've absolutely given it everything. Were there any points where you just didn't want to do that?
Yeah, I remember I was one stage in the Tour I would have won actually if I just sit on the bike, but I didn't. I was so tired. I saw almost stars, and I was seeing the lines. There was many lines, and I see them far away. So I just start sprinting, and I look down, and I sprint, and then see the first line coming. Okay, so then I look up, and there was like maybe 6 lines. So I just guessed it was the line in the middle. But then was already second line was the finish line, and then was the just advertising after. So I was still sprinting over the line, and Sagan is throwing the bike. So he has a bike throw, and I have actually dragged my bike backwards because I'm leaning over over my handlebar for sprinting still. So you see this crazy. I think it was in 2016. See this stupid photo of the finish. I'm losing with 2 centimeters, but I'm doing maximum not the bike throw. And my bike is maximum backwards, and Sagan is doing super bike throw. So he's gaining 20 centimeters. I'm losing 20 centimeters. So it looks so ridiculous. So I lose with 2 centimeters. And then I was so pissed, because I was actually faster. I was in front, but if I just sit on the saddle, I would have won it. But I was not. But it was my own mistake. I didn't see when the finish line was coming, so I was because I was so fucked.
How did that interview go after when they asked you why you didn't get the win?
I was disappointed, but of course I knew it was my own mistake. But it was a stupid mistake to not throw the bike, of course. So what can I say? It was I don't think I said anything stupid, but I didn't really want to do the interview instead. So it was disappointing, of course.
Could be worse. You could be Julian Alaphilippe celebrating when you don't come first. I think you came second in one of those races this year.
I never done that actually.
That's good. Hey, so with funding, one of the things that you brought up and it sort of hits home to me because a lot of the Australian races are going through this same sort of issue. You were the ambassador of the Tour of Norway, and that is now not running anymore because the local government's pulled funding. Is that correct?
Not the local government. It's national government had special
National
funding. So the government of the country. We had funding for international bike races. It was half our budget in Tour of Norway, and half was sponsors. So now they dragged in the funding for the bike race, and so then we lose. We are missing half the money to organize it, and so we're not even close actually. So it's a really nice race, Tour of Norway, and I know many of the pros like to come back year after year. It's nice scenery and good hotels and good food. So it's a pity we cannot manage to arrange it. So I hope for next year again we can find the solution to make a race again, but we will see. But I was supposed to be ambassador. I won a lot of stages there, and this year I was supposed to be a part of the race still. So it's a bit sad also that I cannot. Yeah, it will be an opportunity for me to see my old colleagues and friends in the bike world. So I was a bit disappointed we cannot make it happen. But we will try again for the future.
But there's another race that you'd mentioned. So there is another Norwegian race, and you're sort of competing for funding against that. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit. We have Arctic Race. They have also organizing it, but they get a bit easier funding up in Arctic Race because it's north of Norway. So for this, for what you say, arrangements or stuff happening up in north, they get some funding specially dedicated for north of Norway. So Arctic Race are still funded from the national government because it's from the north of Norway where it's not too much happening. So then they still get the funding that we also wanted to get. So it's not really 100% fair because we are doing more or less the same thing, broadcasting beautiful pictures, making a bike race in Norway. But they get the funding we are asking for, but we don't. So but that's life. Life is not always 100% fair, you know. That's what I tell my kids.
Is there that's actually what I'm trying to tell my kids when they have an absolute meltdown. Is there a large, like, when you're talking about funding always comes down to what's the return on investment in regards to that funding. When we talk about return on investment, it's the amount of people, I guess, that will be engaged with that. Is there a large amount of cyclists in Norway? Is cycling a big sport in the country? Or do you think that's one of the reasons why you're sort of fighting for that funding?
Yeah, cycling is quite big. We have a lot of people using bike all the time. For also racing, it's decent, but bike in general, everybody's biking to work or everywhere. So for sure, bike is a big part of people's life. And cycling was a bit bigger actually in Norway a few years ago. Now, when we got the Ingebrigtsen's brothers running so fast, running has come really peaking up here in Norway. So running took a bit away the cycling enthusiasm, and people are running a bit more. But I feel it shifting a bit year by, like in the cycles. So maybe 10 years is more running, and then maybe next 10 years is more cycling. So it's not always stable the amount, but my cycling was maybe a bit bigger like 10, 15 years ago in Norway, but now with Uno X doing so well, I think the interest is also peaking back up. The last years, you've seen more and more Norwegians in Tour de France, and I think interest is coming back up. So then it's a pity we cannot manage to arrange Tour of Norway. That is like we had Arctic Race in north, and we had Tour of Norway in the south of Norway. So now we can only show our beautiful country from the north part, but we have also a very beautiful country in the south.
Well, hopefully Uno X comes into the World Tour, starts pulling some wins, and then that gets the interest going, I guess. A last question before we go to some listener questions. You're at UAE when Pogačar signs in 2019, his first Tour de France 2020. Just casually goes and wins the Tour de France. You were riding that Tour de France in 2020. Did you expect when Pogacar came onto the scene that he was going to be, first, did you expect he was going to win the Tour de France that quickly? And then did you expect that he was going to be the rider that he is today?
I didn't expect him to win so quickly, but we saw how strong he was and how young he was. And on training camps, how he smashed all the other climbers. We had also good climbers in Maika, Formolo. We had many strong climbers in UAE when I was there. And on training, they had no chance against this young Slovenian guy. So we knew he was a really big talent and for sure going to win in the future. But already in 2020, when I did the tour with him, our first goal was top 5 with him because he finished top 3 with the Vuelta, I think, year before. And then he was he was in third or second place for the rest day. And then we had a meeting, and then I say, if we are third now, then the goal should be 1, and then okay, if we end up third, we're still 2 places better than 5th. That was our initial goal. So then we adjusted our goals halfway in the tour to win it, and at the end, he managed to do it. But it was a really crazy experience to be a part of. It was a really nice tour and a really good memory.
Yeah. So I think it was Giannetti who said in the 2023 Tour de France, there was that sort of infamous moment where on the Col de Lots, I'm gone, I'm dead. Giannetti, I think it was Giannetti, came out and said that actually made him as a rider. How would you say, having a look as someone who's been inside the team with Poggy and now outside of the team, seeing him in the World Tour, how has he developed as a rider? What have been those changes? What do you think needed to develop in 2020?
In general, he got stronger in every aspect, I think. You see how strong and how his endurance is even better. Even in the long monuments, he's the best rider. He can go solo for 50, 80 Ks. If you let him go, you don't manage to catch him. And this endurance, he probably didn't have this endurance back in 2020. It's come the later years when he can go out so far and hold off the whole peloton behind, and they cannot catch him. So it's really impressive. And also, he's still also the best climber in the world, and then also best classic rider in the world. And he have a good time trial. He can also perform there. So he's so what to say. All around is you cannot say he's all around because he's like the best in every part, maybe except sprinting, which is also quite decent. But
he's not bad at sprinting, is he? Yeah.
But if you say the other categories, he's best in the world in each category. So you cannot say he's an all-rounder because he's best in the world in all-around.
He's bloody good at crashing too. I tell you, I just haven't seen someone who seems to bounce like Pogacar does when he has a crash.
But
we'll jump into.
He's really skilled.
Sorry, he is.
He's more skilled in everything.
Yes. Jumping into some audience questions then. So I've got 3 that I picked out that I think are, things that we haven't talked about but are interesting. So Tasman Smith asks, who was your favourite rider to race with, and who was your favourite rival to race against?
Oh, it's hard. My favorite rider to race with, I enjoyed really, when you were back in, but to have rider must be maybe my training mate Sven Erik, because we trained together so much and we raced together so much. So Byström is now in UNX this year. He was always helping me in many different ways. He was part of the lead out when I was in Katusha. He was in, I will say, in the local training part of my time, training with me or more or less every day, pushing me on the climbs. So he was crucial for me to perform at my level. But I could not one races, so many races only with him. So when I had him, Marco Haller, Guarnieri, and Mirko, we were a really good bunch together. We had a really proper team, I will say, in the lead outs and classics. We were doing well. So I missed this time. It was a good times in 14 and 15 back then. It was really nice.
And favorite rival? Is there someone that you look back on and you fondly? You were mentioning Sagan before. You've had a couple others.
But I was saying not favorite. He always beat me so much. Favorite must be somebody you beat.
Yeah.
Oh, but I had a good. We had many good rivals. Like to say the best rivals was maybe Sagan and Cavendish and Kittel. You know these guys, but they beat me all the time. So I was not super happy when I saw them on the start line because I knew it was going to be difficult to win.
Yeah. All right. Well, the grouchy cyclist. I've actually talked to this guy a bit. He's actually not very grouchy. He's a pretty nice guy. But he asked, would you trade one of your Tour de France wins for a world championship?
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
How much importance did you place on a world championship? Would that have been something that you really wanted?
Yeah, I was really close, but was against Sagan, beat me in home soil in Norway in 2017. So yeah, that was the year I could have done it. I was so close. I think I lost with 5 centimeters. So it's very narrow. You lose with so little after 260K. It's such a small margin. So yeah, it's a pity, but that's life. Really would I love to be a world champion, but yeah, at the end I didn't manage. But still, I was a European champion and second in the worlds, and I had third place in Olympics. So I had a medal in all these 3 championships. So that's still a nice thing to have. And my kids are they are not the cyclists, but they still watch Olympics, and they say, "Ah, you have this medal." Yeah. I was third in Olympics, so it's cool to really to have an Olympic medal. That's something special.
Oh, totally. I think often cyclists, you ask, would they want to win the Tour de France? Would they want to? But I think the one thing that you can show that sort of has that universal appeal and universal respect is an Olympic medal. That must be something really special. Last one for you then. So this is from Artie, and he asks, Boonen, Cancellara, MVDP, or Wout, all at peak form. Who do you think would win Roubaix?
It's difficult. They can all win, but I feel Van der Poel is difficult to beat for the moment. So I think maybe he could have beaten these old champions, but I don't know.
What's scary watching Van der Poel at the moment is I don't know whether we've seen his peak form. I'm watching him in the cyclocross season this year, and I don't know whether he's peaked. Whereas I feel like we've seen the best that Cancellara can do. We've seen the best that Boonen can do. I'm a huge fan of Wout van Aert, but I feel like we might have seen peak Wout at this point, but I don't know if we've seen peak Van der Poel.
I don't know either. He's when he's have a top day, he's really unbelievable. So yeah, then even sometimes even Pogačar can struggle sometimes with him. So then he must be good.
I was about to say I'm out of all the races this year, the ones that I'm most excited for are the classics where Van der Poel and Pogačar line up against each other. I think they're the races that have me really licking my lips. They were fantastic last year.
I look forward also to watch them and not be a part suffering in the back there and try to follow. It will be more nice to watch it on TV.
It's not bad. To take it from someone that's exclusively done that, it's pretty good. Get a nice wine nice
I
beer.
won Flanders, and I always come in and hoping for a good result, and then the level now I cannot follow, and then you end up like 60 or 70, and then you're just disappointed that you were not part of the action the last 1 hour, and that's not a good feeling. So I look forward not to have this feeling after this year's Flanders.
Well, look, mate, all the best with this new life that you found. I wish you all the success with with Lionel. Really exciting for you. And
Thank you.
yeah, enjoy the time. Good luck with the renovations. And again,
I will come back to painting now. So
yeah. Get the jersey on. I won't say the team, but he is painting with the jersey on, and he's had to take it off for this. I don't know whether that's a stab at the team or not, so I'll leave that off the podcast.
You get a lot of free clothing, and then it's you need to use them somehow. So for renovation now, I have a unlimited amount of clothes, so I can paint many different stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, again, sincerely, thank you so much for coming on, and have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you.
So, every single one of these, I think I enjoy them more and more. Part of that might be that I'm starting to improve. I hope I am. But I think the other part of that is just the one thing that I'm learning about these guys is that they're just genuinely nice people. And I genuinely feel privileged to get to do this. So for all of you guys that tune in, thank you so much for making this something that has legs. And yeah, it would be awesome if you like what we're doing here, if you could share it. We would love to continue to get the podcast to grow. And yeah, just get amongst it with your friends. If you've got some riders that you'd like us to get on, chuck them in the comments. It'd be great to, I don't know, maybe have some gravitas when we're approaching these riders, or more lately media managers. It would be really good to say, hey, heaps of our viewers would like you to get that rider on for us. So yeah, anyway, enough begging, and we'll be back with some more episodes. They just they keep coming. So yeah, enjoy. Thank you very much. Catch you later. This has been the Domestique Hotseat. I've been Burgess and his bike, and Happy New Year.